From ancient scrolls to timeless truths. This is Timeless Bible Tales. Don't forget to subscribe and journey with us through Scripture's greatest stories.
The Book of Giants, like the Book of Enoch and other ancient apocryphal writings, has long fascinated scholars, theologians, and history enthusiasts alike. Although not part of the canonical Bible, this obscure text offers a unique and vivid portrayal of a world that existed before the Great Flood, echoing themes of divine justice, celestial rebellion, and humanity's descent into chaos. But who authored this mysterious work, and what deeper truths does it seek to convey? In this exploration, we will trace the historical journey of the Book of Giants, from its obscure origins in ancient Jewish thought to its later incorporation into the Manichaean religious tradition. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay informed on more captivating explorations of lost and hidden texts. The Book of Giants is considered an apocryphal work, one that sits outside the Hebrew and Christian biblical canon, but it offers a compelling expansion of the events briefly described in Genesis 6 verses 1 to 4. Similar to the Book of Enoch, the Book of Giants delves deeper into the story of the Watchers, heavenly beings who descended to earth, and their offspring, the Nephilim, who were believed to be enormous, powerful, and ultimately corrupt. This text attempts to explain how wickedness proliferated so extensively on earth that divine intervention, in the form of the Great Flood, became not only justified but necessary. The book provides a detailed portrayal of the state of the world before the flood, highlighting both the physical and spiritual corruption that had spread among humans and supernatural beings alike. Scholars estimate that the earliest form of this work was composed around the 3rd century BCE, reflecting themes deeply rooted in Second Temple Jewish thought. Though the Book of Giants eventually became embedded within the theological framework of Manichaeism, its origins are significantly older. The Manichaean tradition preserved portions of this text in later centuries, particularly through writings found in Turfan, Central Asia. However, the discovery of Aramaic fragments of the Book of Giants among the Dead Sea Scrolls indicates that its foundational elements were already circulating in Jewish communities long before it became associated with the prophet Mani and his followers. These Aramaic texts, written during the Second Temple period, suggest that the book was once part of a broader Enochic tradition, one that sought to explore themes of divine justice, celestial hierarchy, and cosmic rebellion through apocalyptic visions and moral instruction. The narrative presented in the Book of Giants revolves around the Watchers, divine beings who, according to the account, defied God's commandments by descending to earth. These angels, also referred to as the sons of God, committed a grave transgression by mating with human women, producing hybrid offspring known as the Nephilim. These giants, sometimes called the Gibberim or Rephaim, were not only physically imposing but spiritually corrupt, embodying both the power and the rebellion of their fallen ancestry. Their very existence challenged the established order of creation, prompting moral chaos and widespread violence among both mortals and immortals. The Book of Giants delves into their story, describing their actions, dreams, fears of impending judgment, and eventual destruction. Through this, the text reinforces the need for divine judgment in the form of the Great Flood, a purifying act meant to cleanse the earth of its unnatural and corrupted elements. Many other ancient texts reference similar stories and characters, reinforcing the narrative found in the Book of Giants. In addition to Genesis, texts like the Book of Jubilees, the Genesis Apocryphon, 2 Baruch, 3 Baruch, and the Damascus document contain parallel accounts or theological reflections on these fallen beings and their offspring. Furthermore, historical books of the Bible such as Judges, Joshua, and Samuel include brief references to giants or mysterious powerful beings, although these mentions are often vague or symbolic. These intertextual references suggest that the tradition of the giants and the Watchers was widespread across various Jewish and early Christian communities, forming part of an oral and written heritage that carried powerful theological implications. Later, the Book of Giants found a new home within the Manichaean religion, founded by the prophet Mani in the 3rd century AD. Mani was born in southern Mesopotamia and was deeply influenced by a blend of Jewish, Christian, Zoroastrian, and Gnostic ideas. He likely encountered the Book of Giants during his formative years, perhaps through exposure to the teachings of Elkasai, a Jewish Christian visionary who preached a syncretic faith combining elements of different traditions. Mani integrated the story of the Watchers and the Giants into his cosmological narrative, which emphasized the struggle between light and darkness, spirit and matter. The Manichaean version of the Book of Giants, written in Pahlavi, a script derived from Middle Persian, reflects this synthesis of cultures and beliefs, adapting older Jewish traditions to fit a new religious worldview. The scholarly rediscovery of the Book of Giants in modern times began with the publication of Manichaean fragments by W. B. Henning in 1943. These fragments, found in Turfan, in present-day Xinjiang, China, provided concrete evidence that the book played a significant role in Manichaean teachings. Then, in 1971, scholar Joseph T. Milik made a groundbreaking discovery. Several Aramaic fragments of Enochic literature among the Dead Sea Scrolls bore a striking resemblance to the Manichaean Book of Giants. Milik concluded that the text was not merely a Manichaean invention but rather a continuation of an earlier Jewish tradition. He argued that the Book of Giants was originally a part of the Book of Enoch, or at least closely related to it, and that its themes and structure reflected core concerns of Second Temple Judaism. 10 distinct manuscripts of the Book of Giants have been identified among the Dead Sea Scrolls, stored in caves around Qumran. These include texts catalogued as 1Q23, 1Q24, 2Q26, 4Q203, 4Q530, 4Q531, 4Q532, 4Q556, 4Q26, and 6Q8. Their discovery confirmed that the Book of Giants was widely read and respected within certain Jewish sects, perhaps including the Essenes, who are believed to have lived at Qumran. These findings also showed that the Book of Giants was not a fringe or obscure text, but rather an important part of Jewish apocalyptic literature, serving as a theological bridge between canonical scriptures and later mystical or Gnostic interpretations. The question of the book's original language and cultural influences remains a subject of scholarly debate. Although the Aramaic texts from Qumran are the oldest surviving versions, some scholars, such as C. P. Van Andel and Rudolf Otto, have suggested that even these may have been based on older Hebrew originals. Supporting this theory is R.H. Charles, the translator and editor of the Book of Enoch, who proposed in 1906 that Enochic literature, including the Book of Giants, emerged from a pre-existing Noahic saga. These ancient narratives may have been embedded in oral traditions that long preceded the writing of Genesis, only later being formalized in apocalyptic texts. Interestingly, the Book of Giants includes names such as Gilgamesh and Hobabish, pointing to possible Babylonian influence. Some scholars see this as evidence that the mythologies of Mesopotamia played a role in shaping Jewish apocalyptic literature. However, others, like scholar Florentino Garcia Martinez, have challenged this view, arguing that the linguistic and theological framework of the Book of Giants is distinctly Semitic and does not rely on Mesopotamian mythology in a direct or significant way. The impact of these traditions extended beyond Jewish and Manichaean communities. The historian Flavius Josephus, writing in the 1st century AD, echoed Enochian themes in his work Antiquities of the Jews. He identified the sons of God, mentioned in Genesis as fallen angels who sought human worship by posing as gods, an idea that reappears in Greco-Roman mythology in the form of titans and demigods. Likewise, the Apostle Paul warned early Christians that idol worship was tantamount to worshiping demons, a concept that aligns with the Enochic view of fallen angels and their spiritual descendants. Paul's description of a hierarchical structure of evil, principalities, powers, and spiritual hosts of wickedness closely mirrors the classifications found in Enochian texts, reinforcing the notion of a structured cosmic rebellion against divine authority. Ultimately, the Book of Giants stands as a profound theological work that bridges the worlds of ancient Judaism, early Christianity, and later Gnostic and Manichaean traditions. Its tales of divine rebellion, hybrid offspring, and apocalyptic judgment offer a unique lens through which to understand ancient conceptions of morality, justice, and the unseen spiritual realms. As a crucial piece of the Enochic puzzle, the Book of Giants invites us to reconsider the boundaries of biblical history and explore the rich, interconnected world of apocryphal literature. What do you think about the Book of Giants and its connections to biblical and historical traditions? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and may you be blessed until we meet again.